In every journey of the full Sakian man, there comes a time when he begins to see that women never had any power over him to begin with. All that they had was a pink palace and deception. That's all that they had. And it's only the ones who are actually spiritual awakened as women that will not be able to try to do certain things to try to get your attention. Like women who are actually spiritually awakened, they're still women, of course, just like men are still men, even after spiritually awakening. But women who are spiritually awakened are going to have a warmth to them that fake Jezebel SLUTs will just not. And the reason being is because these fake SLUTs, they glitch out around you with a full sack because they don't know exactly how to keep their mask up. You know, they don't know how to keep the charade going because they're so used to men just bending over which way and every which way. Like, for example, this is where I got the idea of this video. A few days ago, there's a woman at the gym who is walking by the cardio room, and I'm next to a guy where he actually came next to me, even though there was like a whole bunch of other treadmills available. He came next to me, and I was running, and he called over this woman this woman is reasonably attractive, okay? She's very much so reasonably attractive. However, she's married, but she's acting like she's not most of the time, right? And we'll just leave it at that. And she comes over to this guy, and this guy says, you know, hey, like, I gotta say hi. And he's on the phone, right? He's on the phone. He's like, hey, I gotta say hi to this girl. And he starts talking to her and chatting her up and all that. And they start to gossip about, you know, some friend of hers that's getting married to an ugly ass dude and all this stuff. And she is like looking at my direction. I can feel her looking at me while they're talking because she's like trying to see if I'm like, I don't know, gonna partake in the situation, I guess. Now keep in mind, this is a woman who has actively tried to make a pass at me in the past, and she tried to like corner me into one of the workout machines that I did like months ago. And so there's been that like awkward tension sometimes if she's around, and I usually just walk away from the situation. I don't want to be around Jezebel SLUTs any more than I have to. I love them unconditionally before the beings that they are, but I do not agree with the decisions that they're making. So I don't like the decisions, but I still embrace who they are because I know who they are, something more underneath the mask anyway. And so she's like looking over at me, and she's wondering like if I'm gonna say something. And then finally he says to the lady, hey, say hi to my friend, and you know, she says, hey, like a freaking valley girl, you know. And then the friend on the phone says, wow, she sounds kind of like a sex bot. And then he says that again. He's like, oh no, he thinks you're a sex bot. And then that's when I'm just like, okay, I don't want to hear this conversation. I'm just going to go somewhere else. So I literally just leave. I go to leave. And as I'm going to leave, she says, oh no, I don't do that. No, none of that. And it's always the Jezebel SLUTs that try to make it seem like they're not Jezebel SLUTs the most, right? Like every spiritually awakened woman that I've met, which isn't very many, because not a lot of them are spiritually awakened. I have talked to a lot of different types of women though, and especially like in my godlike mastery or in the one-on-one sessions that I've had, I've talked to, at this point, probably over 50, 60 women around the world, just for my own like one-on-one sessions and, you know, whether it's in the Regal Academy or women on Instagram messaging me, whatever it is, for this type of work, right? And it's always, like, they're always very open about, you know, who they are and what they're about. But it's the women who want to, like, keep up an image. They're the ones that want to have this image of who they want you to believe that they are. Those are the ones that you need to definitely be most mindful of the most. Otherwise, they will try to trap you and keep you isolated from yourself to yourself and make you project onto certain things. Like, have you ever had a woman that you've been around and she doesn't say anything like mean necessarily. She doesn't say anything like wrong. But at the same time, you're like, why do I want to, like, just slap you? Like, why do I don't know why, but, like, there's something about what she's doing and how she's doing it that just makes me, I don't know what it is, you know? And that's exactly the type of woman that's being deceptive without being deceptive. Like, she's just trying to start stuff, right? And women who are spiritually awakened aren't going to do this, but if they do this, they will take accountability for it, and they'll accept that this is actually going on, right? The thing is that most of the time, most of the women, all that they have to deal with is their pink palace and deception, right? So, like, this woman who's blatantly lying, like, I know this woman just by looking at her. She's been around the block, okay? And she acts like it too. Like, she's, you know, when women have, like, a deeper voice that's, like, kind of masculine, and it's not their natural voice, right? Like, you can tell that they've just absorbed a lot of masculine energy. That's just kind of the way that it is. And it's not like a woman's, like, low voice and in the way that she's, like, trying to seduce a man, right? It's a voice in which she's trying to, like, well, she's not really trying to do anything. She's just become the men that she's been with. And I'm not hating on these types of women. I'm just saying that, like, we're dealing with these women sometimes. Like, that's, well, most of the time, hopefully we're not dealing with them, but we have to learn how to identify them and see what they actually want. Because what they want is your vitality. And they're always going to glitch out. Like, this woman, after I left the treadmill and I just finished my run somewhere else, and because I didn't really care to be around it. It's not like I can't not be around it. It's just like, this is, out of all the places that they could have this conversation, because it was pretty empty at the gym at this time, they're having it, like, right next to me. Like, come on. But anyway, so I continue doing my thing. And then later, as I'm, like, doing my workouts and such, she comes around and she's, like, glitching out, man. She cannot keep a conversation around me, because it's almost like she knew that I was not going to employ myself into those low standard tiers. Like, and a woman who is that, I don't know, reasonably attractive, I don't know why she's hanging around those types of men anyway. You know, why would she even have conversations with men like this? This is what I don't, well, I mean, we know, and we all know why. It's because of the attention, right? Because women who have not been able to let go need that constant attention. And especially nowadays with the social media and such, we all know this. You know, I'm not saying anything new in that moment where talking about social media is, like, you know, crippled everybody's mind. It's, everybody knows that. But what people don't know is the long-term effects of this, and nobody can really identify what the long-term effects of this is going to be, right? But I know for a fact that women like that, who look like that, they don't usually glitch out around any type of dude. It takes a man with a full sack to inspire her to start looking in herself and seeing like, wow, I'm actually doing, I'm actually being around these types of people, or I'm actually like having these types of conversations. I mean, and I don't want to shame these types of women necessarily either anymore, right? Like, I just want to look at them for who they are and what they're doing. Like that's who they're choosing to be. That's who they're embodying to be in the spirit of the time. I really don't care. Like, it really doesn't bother me. It's just that I know a lot of men will see this and they don't know why this is happening. Well, it's because when you have a full sack and women just act a certain way around you and they don't know why, and it's almost like the mask has to come off because they know that you see through them. They glitch out, man. Like these fake SLUTs will glitch out around you because they can't conspire you to do their bidding, basically. And this is where what I said at the very beginning is very poignant, because women don't really have an unawakened spiritually woman is not going to have really any type of power other than lust. That's all it is. And the only reason that she's going to have any power to be perceived anyway is because she's involved in the illusion of separateness. When she's committed to the illusion of separateness, she's only going to drag other men into the illusion of separateness. That's one of the reasons why lust is so powerful, by the way, is because it promotes you into this state of separateness, and it gives the ego the illusion that it wants, because then you can perpetuate the feeling and never have to look inside yourself to take responsibility and be responsible and be inspired from yourself. You're no longer needing external validation. You're just being who you are. But that's too much for a lot of these women. And it's too much for a lot of these men. And so the task at hand then is how to reconcile the proclivity that we all have to create the separateness, while also ensuring that we're going to be working on ourselves sufficiently to the point in which we don't judge or shame these other types of people, but we see them for who they are and what they're doing and who they're choosing to be, rather. Because maybe the semantics here are what they're choosing to be rather than who they're choosing to be. Because they really don't have that much power, man. They really don't. The women who are spiritually awakened are so much more like, people in the manosphere, for example, hate on women with goddess energy. I love it. I love women with goddess energy, man. But not in the, ooh, I have power over you type of goddess energy. Goddess energy is in like the ability to nurture and to heal and to make people feel seen and heard and loved. That's goddess energy, right? Just like godly energy for a man is protection and provision and resources. It's just the two dancing, right? And that's the dance of the polarity of masculine and feminine energy. It's when the two dance to such a degree that they become one, and then they kind of, go out into the two and come back into the one again. And this insistence that so many women have on having the power or women power, it's only promoting the separateness. It's only promoting the separateness. And that's why also men with full sacks, they demonstrate this quality of seeing through all of the illusions. And so when a woman has to try to, none of that, no, I'm not an SLUT who does this type of stuff. Yeah, sure you're not. Maybe you're not now. Maybe you've never done it for money. But don't tell me water ain't wet. It's like, come on. Don't try to tell me that water ain't wet. It's This is crazy. You know, this is bonkers. But that's just the way that they're going to play that game sometimes. And we have to just accept it because, you know, that's part of our own practice as men with full sacks, is to simply accept it as it is, to accept this Jezebel SLUT as she is. I mean, that's a task in of itself, because I think that we often put a lot of negative connotations on women who do that type of work, because it's not really work. But at the same time, I don't think it would be a bad thing. For example, I don't think it would be a bad thing for like a woman who is grounded in her sexuality, and she wants to like help men learn about the sacred sexuality through her work. I don't think that's a bad thing. But it's like these bonely cans women who, from what I've heard from the men that I've talked to in my sessions and such, it's like you get this naggy, oh my gosh, did you guys see that? Another white butterfly. It's like this, I've seen white butterflies everywhere the last like few days, but anyway, they're just still nagging like, well, until you give me my money, I'm not gonna do that for you. I'm not gonna act that way. It's like, I've only, like, the women, you're getting the same nagging from these bonely cans women than you would from a Jezebel SLUT who's for the streets, right? Like, this is, like, what are you paying for exactly? You're not even paying for a woman who actually pretends to even care. Like, that's what's so crazy about the time. That, like, that's, I just don't get it, you know. Why men would pay to see women who treat them like every other woman anyway. That's just like, what are you paying for exactly? I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, you see, but it's like, man, I mean, if you were to have like a bonely cans woman who was devoted to helping men like in their sexuality, I don't think that would necessarily be like a bad thing. I don't think it would be a good thing, but I don't think it would be like, I think it would be better than what's going on now. It's just like the power that women think that they have has just gone out of control. And the men who have given them their essence it's just kind of repulsive, you know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not trying to degrade these people at all. I'm just saying that that's just the way that I see the things working out and playing out. And I mean, it's like the guys at the gym, right? Like this guy who's like joking about her being a sex bot, like in the middle of in the public gym. Usually I don't hear that kind of stuff at all at the gym that I go to. Like, yeah, there's some kind of sketchy things going on, but for the most part, it's a family gym, like, at least relatively speaking. And like, I would say most of the women there are pretty modest, but yeah, there's definitely a few who barely wear anything. And then there's the men who, you know, there's a few guys that are definitely like bodybuilders, right? Because there are bikini models as well as bodybuilders at the gym that I go to. And these bodybuilders, though, like, really great guys, really chill, and just like wowzers, right? Like, they're just very, very relaxed guys who also can just be who they are totally and entirely, without trying to, like, you know, oh, I'm a man, right? Like, so it's definitely like a diverse place, but I don't get why women hang out with those types of guys, you know, and like put up with that sometimes. And I do know why, of course, right? Like just mentioned earlier, but with the vice versa situation. But yeah, it's a wild time to be alive, you know. It's a wild time to be alive. So, with all that being said, I hope that, no hope. Sometimes I'm surprised, not really surprised, but perplexed at how deep that word has been embedded into my psyche. Like, wow, you we're for years and decades, we're always like, oh, we need more hope. We need more hope. And it's just like, man, that's freaking as empty as anything else. But anyway, be blessed. I trust this message reached those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, and that we're prepared to hear this type of message. Because although, yes, it is a bit more of a, it's a bit more of a fun and funny type of topic, it's also, there's something deeper going on. And that's what I wanted to touch on. So, peace be with you. Stay blessed. Until next time.